Now let's understand how we can access single resource by assigning multiple routes URL, right? Remember one thing, whenever I'm saying the word resource, that means I'm talking about action method, right? This is a single resource, this is a single resource, right? This is also a single resource. That means whenever we say resource, that means we are talking about action method, right? So now let's look into the picture how we can access a single resource by using multiple routes URL, right? So for this action method, let's define some more routing, right? So let's define one more route. Let's define one more route, and this time let's name this API slash search. For this, we can name it API search. Let's say data, right? Now let's save the changes and run the application. So we have assigned for this action method, or we have assigned for this single resource a multiple route URL, right? So let's save the changes and run the application. So our application has been built successfully. You can see now for accessing this single resource search details action method, we need to provide routing. So we can define either search, right? We have defined search pattern. So I'm clicking on the enter button, and you can see we are getting the output from this action method, hello search details, right? Now let's say we want to assign, we want to call this, we want to access this particular resource by another routing URL, right? So API, then search, right? Then click enter. So we can see it is giving the same output, right? Let me put a breakpoint for you so that this will make you more easy to understand, right? And now we are going to define a pattern, a third routing pattern which we have defined for this single resource, that is API search data. So I'm going to call now this way, right? And I'm clicking on the enter button. So you can see our control is coming to this action method, and it is giving the desired output, you can see. So this is how we can access a single resource by assigning a multiple route URLs for a particular resource, right? Let me stop the application and let me show you one more thing. Let's say we are going to define one more route URL for this single resource, and now this time let's say we are going to say search data, right? Now save the changes and run the application. So you can see our application has been built successfully. Now for calling this resource, for accessing this particular resource, I'm going to provide this routing pattern URL, right? So I'm going to define search API, right? API search data, right? This time this one. So you can see our control is coming to this particular resource. I'm clicking on the button, continue. We are getting the desired output, whatever we expecting, right? So this is the process how we can access a single resource by assigning a multiple routes URL for a particular action method or for a particular resource, right?